United Launch Alliance presents live Delta IV launch coverage from Space Launch Complex 6 at Vandenberg Air Force Base, California. On board Delta IV today is the NRO L-65 mission for the National Reconnaissance Office.
Range, go for launch. Roger, go for launch.
T-minus 3, 2, 1.
Atlas engine ignition.
Liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Delta IV Heavy rocket.
Good morning and welcome to Vandenberg Air Force Base. I'm Matt Donovan and I'll be your commentator for today's launch. Later in today's broadcast, you'll be hearing the voice of Steve Agate as he provides us launch vehicle ascent data. Our liftoff time is scheduled this morning for 10:53 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. At the request of our customer, today's launch coverage will conclude following confirmation of payload fairing jettison, which occurs approximately 6 minutes after liftoff. The launch count is currently in a planned 45-minute hold. This planned hold allows launch conductor Ward Johansson and his team time to conduct final systems checks before the launch countdown resumes. At this point, we remain on schedule for launch at 10:53 a.m. As I mentioned earlier, this Delta IV Heavy rocket is carrying the NRO L-65 mission for the National Reconnaissance Office. This is the 5th Delta IV Heavy flight for the NRO and the 2nd from Vandenberg. The NRO is a joint organization engaged in the research and development, acquisition, launch and operation of overhead reconnaissance systems necessary to meet the needs of the intelligence community and the Department of Defense. The mission of the NRO is innovative overhead intelligence systems for national security. The NRO commemorated 50 years of service to the nation 2 years ago. In addition to its significant historical accomplishments, the NRO is recognized for its transformational intelligence collection systems that are used to develop highly accurate military targeting data, support international peacekeeping and humanitarian relief operations, and to assess the impact of natural disasters. Recently, the launch team received a final weather briefing and was told that the weather is within the launch commit criteria for today's liftoff. The overall probability of violating launch constraints is 40% due to ground winds. Ground winds are currently in a northerly direction at 16 knots and the temperature is 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So the team is go for liftoff with a T0 planned for 10:53 a.m. Pacific Time.
No issue with proceeding at this point. We will have the anomaly discussion. It will be a waiver violation discussion on 6.
ULA is using the Delta IV Heavy configuration to launch the NRO L-65 mission. This is the 7th flight of the Heavy configuration and the 24th Delta IV launch since the inaugural flight in 2002. The Delta IV Heavy is produced in Decatur, Alabama. It is comprised of 3 common booster cores, each powered by the Aerojet Rocketdyne RS-68 engine, and a Delta cryogenic second stage, powered by the Aerojet Rocketdyne RL-10B engine. The NRO L-65 payload is encapsulated within a 5-meter diameter payload fairing that protects it during ascent. On July 24th, the encapsulated payload fairing was mated to the launch vehicle. In preparation for launch, the Mobile Assembly Shelter, or MAS, was moved on Monday. Approximately 11 hours ago, the Mobile Service Tower, or MST, was rolled back. The 33-story MST weighs over 9 million pounds and is rolled to the park position 300 feet east of the Delta IV rocket. The Delta IV Heavy stands approximately 232 feet tall, or about 23 stories, and weighs nearly 1.2 million pounds fully fueled. Each RS-68 engine delivers 656,000 pounds of thrust at liftoff, producing a total of nearly 2 million pounds of thrust off the launch pad. For those watching the broadcast, you're looking at video taken earlier today at Space Launch Complex 6. This is Delta Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding, and we continue to move towards launch at 10:53 a.m. Pacific Time. While the team completes final preparations for launch, let's take a closer look at today's flight.
The following profile details the important events of this mission using approximate times.
T-minus 10,
9, 8, 7, 6, 5. We have ignition of the main engines. We have liftoff. Liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Delta IV Heavy rocket.
3 RS-68 first stage engines ignite to lift the vehicle away from the pad. Shortly after liftoff, the Delta IV begins its initial pitch and yaw maneuvers to attain the proper ascent profile. At 80 seconds, the vehicle experiences maximum dynamic pressure. The Delta IV is now traveling at Mach 1, the speed of sound. At 3 minutes 54 seconds, the port and starboard CBCs are throttled down. 8 seconds later, the strap-on CBC engines are shut down. At 4 minutes 4 seconds, the port and starboard CBCs are jettisoned. The center CBC is immediately throttled to full power to maximize performance. Approaching main engine cutoff, the Delta IV is burning propellant at a rate of 1,050 pounds per second and flying at more than 94 miles in altitude, 301 miles downrange, and traveling at a speed of more than 12,372 miles per hour. Main engine cutoff occurs at 5 minutes 27 seconds. 6 seconds after main engine cutoff, the first stage is jettisoned. Ignition of the second stage engine takes place 13 seconds after stage separation. At 6 minutes 12 seconds, the payload fairing is jettisoned.
This is Delta Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. Earlier in today's countdown, Mission Director, Colonel James Fisher from the NRO's Office of Space Launch, dedicated the mission. Let's listen to Colonel Fisher.
Today's launch is dedicated to the brave men and women who serve for our nation's freedom.
L-minus 13 minutes.
We conversed. LC, this is LD on countdown 1.
Go LD.
Yes, sir. Please coordinate a new T0 with a range of 18:03:00.
18:03:00.
That's a good copy.
RC, LC.
LCRC1, go.
Yeah, RC, coordinate a new T0 of 18:03:00 Zulu.
Roger that, in work.
SC, LC. On that one. Timer, LC.
Go ahead.
Set the clock for a new T0 of 18:03:00 Zulu.
Roger, in work.
SC, LC, net 1.
Clock is reset and running.
SC, LC, net 1.
This is
LC1
Delta
is
Mission
AC.
Control at T-minus 4
LC.
minutes in holding.
For LD.
At this point, the launch team is working through a couple of minor items, and we have an updated T0 time of 11:03 Pacific Time.
To liftoff, we are in the process of processing a waiver to the mission spec. Recommendations proceed.
LC copies and concurs. LD
LD copies and concurs.
and MD.
MD copies and concurs.
NAL.
L-minus 19 minutes.
Go ahead, LC. This is LC.
And just letting you know, we've coordinated a new T0 and the clocks are set for 18:03:00 Zulu.
Copy.
This is AC on net 1 to outbrief the anomaly we had with the Lockstone Purge Regulator, Module 30 and 31. The team performed a series of tests and determined that the best way in which to activate the high flow Lockstone Purge is to manually initiate the purge at an early condition at L-9 minutes, as opposed to the auto initiation that occurs at approximately L-194 seconds. So the team concurred with that, and the other thing that what we may see is some alarms on Lockstone Purge and nose cone purge, but that would just be during the transition on umbilicals, and the plan is to acknowledge those yellow alarms should they occur. So that's the recommendation.
LC copies and concurs. LD
LD copies and concurs.
and MD.
MD copies and concurs.
VSE, LC on net 1.
LCRC1.
Go ahead, RC1.
New T0 approved.
Roger.
This is Delta Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes in holding. You can see it's a beautiful day at Slick 6 with blue skies, and the launch team has just closed the couple of minor items that they had been working during the countdown. At this point, we remain on track for a liftoff scheduled for 11:03 a.m. Pacific Time.
That's affirmative.
Wilco.
And VSE, LC, net 1.
VC's on 1.
Okay, back to step 1200. Verify base bending moment. Instrumentation is active and data is valid.
BBM is fully mission capable. Recommend placard 6 alpha.
Roger. LO, LC, net 1.
LO.
Transition to wind placard 6 alpha for launch.
Roger.
This is LC for an update. We're complete with all steps through Operation 50, Step 1210. Next step in the procedure will be 1220 at L-12 minutes.
L-15 minutes. L-14 minutes. L-13 minutes.
This is Delta Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. At this time, all items remain go for launch, and the launch team will soon be going through their briefing and polling activities in preparation for proceeding into the terminal count. Liftoff time is planned for 11:03 a.m. Pacific Time.
L-12 minutes.
MEQ, initiate data logger just prior to the L7 poll.
Roger.
ALC, start T-minus 4 master script.
Master script running.
Establish T-minus 4 status, screen cleared.
Cleared.
L minus 10 minutes. All communications switch to Channel 1. All personnel and visitors remain in present position until launch. Maintain operational silence in the LCC.
Terminal count briefing. If a condition exceeds a launch constraint anytime after terminal count status check, the observer shall announce hold, hold, hold on Channel 1, identify their station, and briefly state the reason for the hold.
This is Delta Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. We remain in the hold as preparations for the launch continue. In a few moments, Launch Conductor Ward Johansson will poll the launch team for the final go to pick up the countdown. 33 engineers and managers will be polled for system status and readiness to proceed with the launch. This is the final status check before launch for all Delta vehicle systems, ground systems, the payload, and the US Air Force Western Range. The vehicle system readiness poll includes electrical systems, hydraulics, pneumatics, propulsion systems, flight control, and propellants. Final processing steps just prior to launch include completing propellant topping of both vehicle stages and pressurizing tanks to flight pressures. Let's listen as Ward Johansson performs the final polling of the launch team.
Upper
L minus 7 minutes.
Status check to proceed with terminal count. MEQ.
Go.
MEA.
Go.
HYE.
Go.
LOX 1.
Go.
LOX 2.
Go.
BP.
Go.
PNE.
Go.
BP.
Go.
ATC 1.
Go.
PEA.
Go.
Fuel 1.
Go.
Fuel 2.
Go.
TM1B.
Go.
TM1.
Go.
ATC 3.
Go.
TM2.
Go.
FMA.
Go.
VE.
Go.
EEA.
Go.
GE.
Go.
SYS.
Go.
DSE.
Go.
Timer.
Go.
ECS.
Go.
SC.
Go.
QE.
Go.
USO.
Go.
OSM.
Go.
VSE.
VSE is go.
ALC.
Go.
AC.
Go.
RC.
Range, weather, and clear to proceed.
Launch Director.
Launch vehicle is ready to launch.
Mission Director.
You have permission to launch.
Proceeding with the count. MEQ. Establish swing arm lock pins pull.
Active.
SYS. Establish record on change list activated.
Activated.
L minus 6 minutes.
Polling is complete and the launch team has given the go for launch. The countdown will resume in approximately 2 minutes. At T-minus 4 minutes and counting, we will enter the terminal count and begin securing the second stage liquid oxygen tank. At T-minus 3 minutes 32 seconds, CBC liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen tank securing is started, including closing the propellant fill and drain valves. Also at T-minus 3 minutes 32 seconds, vehicle transfer from ground facility power to its own internal battery power will be complete. At T-minus 3 minutes, the vehicle ordnance system will be armed and the CBC liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen propellant tanks are verified to be at flight pressure and flight level. At 2 minutes prior to liftoff, the team will verify that the hydraulic system is pressurized and confirm CBC, DCSS, and FTS battery voltages. At T-minus 1 minute 20 seconds, the team will begin securing the second stage liquid hydrogen tank. At T-minus 60 seconds, Western range readiness is verified. At T-minus 50 seconds, the DCSS liquid hydrogen tank is secured at flight level. At T-minus 15 seconds, the ROFIs ignite at the base of the vehicle to burn off excess hydrogen. At approximately T-minus 7 seconds, the starboard CBC RS-68 will ignite, followed 2 seconds later by the core and port CBC RS-68s, with all three ramping up to full power prior to T0. This new staggered start sequence will improve flow in the exhaust duct and reduce overall heating on the vehicle. Liftoff will occur at T0.
T-minus 4 minutes and counting.
Vehicle transferring internal.
T-minus 3 minutes, 50 seconds.
The countdown clock has resumed and we are go for launch at 11:03 a.m. Pacific Time.
Vehicle transfer internal complete.
T-minus 3 minutes, 14 seconds.
CPC pre-press started.
T-minus 3 minutes, 7 seconds.
CBC lock secured.
T-minus 3 minutes.
Vehicle ordnance arming. Vehicle ordnance armed.
CBC LH2 secured.
CBC locks at flight pressure and flight level.
T-minus 2 minutes.
TPA script running.
T-minus 1 minute, 54 seconds and counting. The countdown is on track as we proceed toward T0.
CBC LH2 at flight pressure and flight level.
T-minus 90 seconds and counting. The launch vehicle, payload, ground systems, and Western range are go for launch.
Securing started.
Minus 1 minute.
Engine start
T-minus 58 seconds and counting.
Range status.
Rock range green.
Minus 45 seconds.
Launch enabled. GE main power off.
Main power off.
Minus 40 seconds.
Second stage LH2 secure at flight level.
Minus 30 seconds.
Status check.
Go Delta.
Go L65. Green board.
Minus 25 seconds.
Flight lock in.
T-minus 15.
Igniter's
14.
armed.
13.
Rofi ignition.
12, 11.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. We have ignition of the RS-68 engines. 2, 1, 0. We have liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Delta IV Heavy rocket carrying the NROL L-65 mission to the National Reconnaissance Office. You are hearing the voice of Steve Agate providing launch vehicle ascent data.
128 feet per second, downrange distance about 1/10 of a nautical mile.
MEQ, perform post-liftoff
command
steering.
to go to the partial thrust mode.
Roger.
Passing 1 minute. Chamber pressure is holding, as we expect. 1 minute, 15 seconds into the flight. Passing 1 minute, 20 seconds. Max Q, maximum dynamic pressure in the vehicle. Now 1 minute, 25 seconds. Mach 1 vehicle now going transonic. Passing the 1 minute, 30 second mark. Altitude now passing 7 nautical miles. Velocity 1,645 feet per second. Downrange
LC
distance
to CRC on
1.26 nautical miles.
Go RC.
Roger, I have first motion time.
Roger.
Roger, we have first motion time of 18:03:00.00.224.
Chamber pressure holding nicely in all
Decimal
3 boosters.
224. Copy.
Good
Full
copy.
thrust mode in port and starboard booster. Partial thrust mode in the core.
LC, MEQ.
Go MEQ.
Post liftoff securing complete.
Roger.
Coming up on 2 minutes. Mark, 2 minutes into the flight. Altitude now passing 13.5 nautical miles. Velocity 2,224 feet per second. Downrange distance 5.9 nautical miles. Two minutes, 15 seconds in.
This is the MD on Countdown Net 1.
Good.
Today's launch is dedicated to the brave men and women who serve for our nation's freedom. MD out.
2 minutes, 30 seconds. Chamber pressure holding very well in all 3 boosters. Full thrust in the port and starboard, partial thrust in the core. 2 minutes, 43 seconds in. The Delta vehicle now only weighs 1/2 of what it did at launch some 2 minutes, 48 seconds ago. We're expelling propellant at the rate of 4,745 pounds per second. Coming up on 2 minutes, 55 seconds. Altitude now passing 28.1 nautical miles. Velocity 5,041 feet per second. Downrange distance 34 nautical miles. About 45 seconds remain in 3-booster flight. Passing 3 minutes, 15 seconds. Coming up on 3 minutes, 30 seconds in. Still looking good. Chamber pressure holding in all 3 boosters. Port and starboard boosters continue in the full thrust mode and core booster in partial thrust. 3 minutes, 40 seconds in. About 15 seconds remain until we go to the partial thrust mode. Standing by. And we're going to the partial thrust mode in all 3 boosters now. Standing by for MECO, the main engine cutoff, on the port and starboard, and for separation. We've had separation of the port and starboard boosters from the core.
FISBO, LC.
Core booster has ramped up to full thrust
net
mode.
1.
FISBO on 1.
Operation 70, step 70,
We'll
perform
remain in the
OSM
full
console
thrust
steering.
mode
Establish
in the
launch
core
vehicle
booster
disable.
until shortly before main engine cutoff, about 1 minute from now.
I'm sorry, that is not on my console.
Copy. And USO, establish solid motor S&A arm
1
permission
minute,
safe.
50 seconds in. Safe. Still looking good. coming up on the 5-minute mark. 5 minutes into the flight, about 20 seconds now remain until we get the command to go to the partial thrust mode in the core booster.
ALC, perform console securing Alpha through Charlie.
Roger, in work.
Launch enabled, disable.
Okay, we've got the partial thrust command.
Coordinates enabled, disable.
Standing by for MECO. And we've had MECO.
NALC reports complete.
Roger. TCO enable coming off. Off.
Standing by for 1-2 SEP.
Board enable red tag is on.
And we've had 1-2 SEP. Net deploy is in work.
LC, net 1.
Semi-Q on 1.
Igniter spark.
HGM.
Standing by for ignition, and we have ignition. Ignition on the second
Roger.
stage. Second stage chamber pressure is beginning to rise. Good chamber pressure on the second stage. 6 minutes, 3 seconds into the flight. Standing by for our payload fairing separation.
This is Delta Mission Control at T plus 6 minutes, 30 seconds into today's mission. You've just seen the successful liftoff of the NRO L65 mission for the National Reconnaissance Office. Liftoff occurred at 11:03 a.m. Pacific Time. I'd like to thank Steve Agate for his support of today's broadcast. At this point, at the request of our customer, we're going to be concluding our live coverage. Please join us for one more look at today's successful liftoff of the NRO L65 mission. For more information, you can visit our website at www.ulalaunch.com. On behalf of the entire launch team, I'm Matt Donovan. Thank you for joining us, and have a great day.
T-minus 15, 14, 13,
Rofi ignition.
12, 11,
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. We have ignition of the RS-68 engines. 2, 1, 0. We have liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Delta IV Heavy rocket carrying the NRO L65 mission for the National Reconnaissance Office.
All engines full thrust. 20 seconds into the flight.
You are hearing the voice of Steve Agate providing launch vehicle ascent data.
128 feet per second, downrange distance about 1/10 of a nautical mile.